Ah, there you are. I've been looking for you. Have you been looking for me? Many of you know me as Preacher Moss, comedian extraordinaire. Well, I'm no longer that man. Now, I'm Preacher Moss, the Zakat collector. I'm here to bring Zakat back. And who better to do that with than the OGs of Zakat, Zakat Foundation of America. I'll be bringing together top scholars, community folks, economists, and celebrities to help demystify Zakat. Oh, and don't worry if you haven't paid your Zakat. I'll be coming by to pick it up personally. Me, Preacher Moss, the Zakat collector.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. And welcome everyone, and to those who celebrate Ramadan Mubarak. Peace and blessings to everyone who's on. Welcome to the show. It's the shout out show with Preacher Moss. I am not Preacher Moss, so Preacher has another engagement. So I am sitting in as the host today. I am Sultana Whitfield. Call me Sister Sultana. And yeah, so welcome everyone. We have an exciting topic that we'll get to. But again, just wanted to welcome everyone. If you're new to us, we run daily. The Shout Out Show with Preacher Moss runs daily on Facebook, on Twitter, and on YouTube at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, 5 p.m. Central, 3 p.m. Pacific Time. So in that time slot, so just put in your calendars. Make sure you like and subscribe to the platforms, and that would be awesome. So again, welcome to everyone. I do want to all of our as preacher calls you all your shout out soldiers, and these they're on like every day. And if you I don't know if you all have been like keeping up with us, this is like we're like in our year, right? So we started a year ago and during Ramadan. That was our first show, and so our year was 2 weeks ago, like on that Friday. So it was our 356th episode, and this runs daily. Everyone runs daily, right? So it's our 356th episode, our 1 year, 12 months, however you want to break it down. But hey, we were excited that that happened, and so we had kind of a super show for that. So go back in the archives, you can take a look at that. Also, want to give a shout out to our yesterday's guest, Rick Sclaffold. Sorry, Rick. But Rick did an awesome um, conversation on this is our Sunday potluck on cryptocurrency. So Rick is a cryptocurrency educator and experience in it for quite a number of years, and he actually teaches people how to do it. And y'all, right now it's free of charge. Go back and look at yesterday's episode. You can get all the information on it, the website, and even the passcode to go ahead and take the class. And then you can actually start to invest right there and then. And then he even has some things that he has as far as investing. So definitely take a look at that show. What else is happening before we get into the show? Um, hey, Bill and Melinda Gates, what happened, right? So after 27 years, they have decided to divorce, right? And so, as you know, Bill and Melinda are Microsoft, right? The Gates, right? And so the Gates Foundation. So they announced just late this afternoon that they decided after 27 years that they are going to be, divorcing. And yeah, that's what that's it. That's That's wow, right? You know, upon hearing this, preacher did say, "Oh, it's because Bill did not take the vaccine," but we'll let that one slide. What else is happening in the news? So some of the states that really had some of the restrictions on, occupancy. So like the Northeast, New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, they just said that they're lifting those restrictions. So, they were the most stringent in the country. So they have just called that they are doing it by mid May. They're going to be lifting those occupancy restrictions. Still expect everyone, even across the country, should be still wearing their mask, you know, as a form of protection, not only for you but for yourself. Okay, so that's it for the news update. We do have some people that are on, but I'm going to go ahead and um, uh, you know, uh, introduce, and I'm running the controls here today, so I'm going to be doing double duty, and just say hello to some people here. Ree, Sister Ree, how are you doing? So Ree is hello to you too. Assalamu alaikum. Ree is actually a neighbor of Preacher, and she's actually also as you call her, his dietitian. So she, is caterer. She does food. So she, he is always getting, some nutritious food for her. So welcome to you. And I see here Brother Chase, your husband, is on the line here. Um, you know, welcome to you as well, to your family. And Brother Chase said he truly enjoyed yesterday's show. It was a great show. It was really good. We were talking about it after. We went like over an hour on the show, and so Rick did an awesome job. And there were so many questions on cryptocurrency. And like I said, if you didn't see it, go back to Facebook or either to YouTube and take a look at yesterday's show, May 2nd show. And like I said, some good offers as far as the educational piece. Take a look at that and take advantage of it. All right. Welcome to the Chase family. All right. Ataf Rashi, my brother here from Toronto, Canada, wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Ramadan Mubarak to you, Altaf. As Preach says, there's no passport that's needed, but Altaf is here every day, all day, and has like a lot of comments. And so I expect a lot of comments from people who are joining as well, but he also makes the conversation great. So thank you, Altaf, and welcome again. All right. Who do we have here? Johnny L. Thomas, who is another, um, you know, uh, come through. He's always here. He's been friends with Preach since forever, right? And so he is always here. And wa alaikum assalam, brother JT. JT is not a Muslim, but JT is actually fasting, right? So JT, I hope that's going well. We want to, we're going to get you on. We're going to have 30 for 30. Like, I'm sorry, at the end of and we're winding down. Can you believe like we're in the last 10 days? But we're going to get people on who have been fasting. We definitely want people who first time or non-Muslims who have been on just to give us your experience. So we're going to bring you on the show so you can actually do that. So stay tuned for that information. Who else do we have on the show? Sister Aika. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Sister Aika is another one of our long term. She is coming away from Indonesia, Depok, Indonesia. And so I know it's quite early there the next day. So thank you so much for jumping on, Sister Aika. We totally appreciate you. And wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. All right. And then what does JT say? Great information provided from yesterday's show for sure, for sure, for sure. And like if you're on, get in the comment section. We want to hear from you. We're gonna have a great um, show today. I see somebody here. Oh my gosh. Okay, so Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. This is my dear sister Camilla Schwabe. Welcome to the show. I'm glad to see you on here. You got to stick around because you are like this is like your topic here that we're going to go through. So we need to hear from you. We're going to do some shout outs and talk about put in the comments about what you were doing as well. She says Ramadan Mubarak to everyone and sending peace and love to the Shoaib family as well. Just peace and blessings to them. Um, you know, and is there anyone else in the comments here? Okay. Thank you, love. Yes, you're so excited because I'm telling you, what we have to talk about is like right up our alley. Um, and Sister Ika, what we have to talk about is also, what part of what you are doing as well. So we're gonna go ahead and I'm gonna bring up the banner. Like I said, I am operating by myself today, so I may be a little bit slower going in, but here is the title. So it's the importance of women entrepreneurs. Women entrepreneurs. And we know that is like super um, important, right? We know that, right? And so we want to kind of talk about what that is, what that means, how has that changed, how has it shifted from pre-COVID to now? What have people done to pivot? But what has that done? Also, if you are a woman entrepreneur, drop your link in the chat, and I'm going to shout it out. So drop your the link and just say a little bit of what you do. Um, I don't know if my Hodges are on here as well. We have a business. If they don't, if when they get on, they'll drop it. If not, I'll drop it to talk about that a little bit. But I want to kind of talk about, the the what women are doing as far as entrepreneurs, some of the history behind it, what's happening in that space right now. Oh my gosh. Okay, and I'm gonna have to say, wa alaikum assalam, my dear friend Coffee. How are you doing? Ramadan Mubarak. Coffee, we're talking about the importance of women entrepreneurs. I know you're an entrepreneur, so we want to go ahead and kick it off. What I asked everyone, if you do have a business, put in your website and in the description of what you do. We'll post it, and it'll be out there, and people can go back to this episode and take a look at it, and they'll see your information up there and go visit your site. So, women entrepreneurs. So, women entrepreneurs, it's defined as women-owned business that is at least 51% owned by women, right? And so, um, the definition of what that is. So, and then, and Ramadan Mubarak. And so, women, I think about like when I'm growing up, and it may have not been like a formal, like corporate, papers or filed, but women have always been very influential in having businesses, right, in the community. It's always been like this type of communal, support um, for friends and for family, right? And so even if it was something like baking bread or selling, selling like juice or something that they've made, something that even just like knitting something, but it was something that always came from them that they a craft that they knew, right? And so they turned that into a business, of course, to support their family. Women, are um, or like I said, very communal. So it's there to support the family, support um, the community. So when things are happening, so and so looking at a more structured um, process, and that's why I said like the stats that we're taking are looking at are more of like um, what businesses are like registered businesses, right? And so we know there are many more businesses than that, but this is what we're talking about, are like the registered businesses. So like I said, there were um, um, during last year there was a 41%, and I'll talk about how COVID has affected the businesses, right? A lot of the businesses were, oh my gosh, Rachida, Assalamualaikum. Yes, Yvette Berg. Yvette Berg has and if you have her URL, please drop it in there. She's a seamstress and designer actually in Atlanta. Like she is like amazing. So Majid, if you have it, tell her to drop it in or drop her URL in there. Um, and so Anika Sabri, yes, she is an artist, and we're gonna need those URLs. But what we're seeing is that how COVID has affected, like we are looking at. They talked about like a 41% drop in business and women businesses, right? Because of the effects of COVID. So we know that if because their um, clientele may have been affected financially, their the spaces that they work. So if a lot of people worked in, let's just say, an office building or office complex, that was dramatically affected because they just weren't getting the clientele. And so there were a lot of women had to look at what they were doing and figure out how to pivot that, right? And so if it was a physical space, do I pivot and I do it online? And that's when I would actually want to bring Camilla into the conversation. Camilla has this great, and maybe you can talk through the chat, Camilla, called She Win, We Win, right? And so it is a space where it used to be a physical space, right? Where she would actually have women vendors come in and sell their wares. But she had to pivot a little bit. Yeah, she's here. But talk about She Win, We Win, just like you know, um, let us know like what you had to do to pivot um, for that space. I believe it was online at one point. I'm sorry, it was physical, right? It was a physical space, but you had to pivot to online. So let us know in the chat, and we're going to bring that up um, about what had to be done. So she said, She When We Want is a nonprofit organization created to support Indigenous women entrepreneurs. And so, Camilla, this was like an online. I'm sorry, I keep saying online, but this is a physical space, right? And so you had um, this kind of this 1 day event where everyone got together in this physical space, and were able to interact. But even before then, you had some pre online events that happened, right? But just talk about like what you had to do, um, to pivot that during COVID. Sister Ika, if you're on, I know that you are actually just starting up a business, right? And so tell us a little bit about you have a catering business, right? And Sister Ika is actually in Indonesia, right? And so this is not just a conversation that's limited to um, the US, but we need to look at how this has affected the space across the globe, right? Um, so Camilla said it was a live marketplace that we shifted to become an online virtual mall. And so again, this is yet another shift in space. We know that a lot of people had to pivot during this time, just because of what was going on in in the last year. And Camilla, so a lot of things are with the vaccine and everything, people are trying to. And I was just talking about earlier that the occupancy level rates are like opening up. Do you think you're going to go back to a physical space, or are you going to keep it online? Or are you going to do kind of a mix of both? Um, so she said we had to get creative about social media marketing and women in e-commerce world, and to create an e-commerce um, if you never use the platform. So it's also an educational tool, as you can see. But then also had moved the space from physical um, to virtual. And yeah, Majid is actually giving some like really great um, people here. Let's see, glitter and gold. How could I miss glitter and gold? Glitter and gold, right? That's Fahima. If you're on, just shout us out. But glitter and gold is another online, um, marketplace, and she offers like apparel and just everything, right? So look at glitterandgold.com. Yes, Naima. She has was she a virtual assistant? Um, and Naima does everything. She's more than just that, but she has so many, um, crafts that she can do, or tasks that she can do. Let's see. Let's see. Yeah, Majida. So Majida just started an educational consultancy company, right? And it's under construction. But tell us a little bit about that. And um, and then I'm also going to bring up Ree. Ree is actually a caterer, right? And so that's an entrepreneur. And so tell us about that. Like I know, like of course, Preacher's one of your clients, I should say. But tell us about that space as well. And again, this is kind of a shout out to I know the men are on. Thank you, and thank you for supporting us. But kind of we want to talk about the women entrepreneurs, and where that's at, how that started. Um, how that's going now, how we had to pivot, and what is just some comments about that. Um, let's see. Yes, Iman Khaled. Iman Khaled. She's actually in the UA. She's out of Detroit, but she's in the UA. But she's an author now, right? She has a book. So I know there's several. I look at my timeline and I know that there are so many women entrepreneurs out there. So we do want to hear from you. So Camila said it was a live marketplace that we shifted to become online virtual mall. We had to get creative about social media, right? And e-commerce, right? We're going to continue to have the virtual space, and I think again, this is a good point available because even though the live spaces will open again, the power of having multiple platforms promote your business. Yeah, the online space is really a powerful space, and you could be, from Sisaikas and Deepak, Indonesia, and she could be on She When We Won, right? She's a women entrepreneur, right? Lorna is here, and Lorna is Sari, I should say, is in Texas, right? And she caters, right, all events and birthdays. She also has a licensed hairstylist and um and you said Brother Chase is actually, sorry, I got it. Your husband, Brother Chase, is in and is a licensed barber. So that entire family is just entrepreneurs. So um and leadership development coaching, culturally responsive pedagogy, training to organizations, strategist internationally consulting. So Majid, this is your company. Is this, so just let us know. Because comments are coming all in, and so I don't keep the order. So and again, and so we're looking at like I said, there was overall, like during 2020, from the last year, women's business had a drop, 25% overall, that women's businesses did drop, but it was because of those factors, right? So it was clientele weren't there physically, and the spaces that they may have had to to um, to close, but it did affect minority women a little bit more, and 25% overall. So if you look at African American, it was a 41% drop. If you look at Latina, it was 32%, and then immigrant, it was anywhere from 25 to 36%. And that's huge. If you're looking at like big cities, I think about New York, right? And they're starting to let New Yorkers, actually, it was New York um, City workers are starting to go back into the office. And I think it's more so because it is, yes, the vaccine is there, but the business around the um the offices are suffering. So if you think about, on lunchtime, what do? You run to the store, you do this, you go to lunch, you go to the cart for food. All of those businesses around them are suffering. So, you know, people are getting vaccinated. I think we're at a 48% vaccination level, at least for first shot for adults in this country. So everyone's not. But and I just saw another article that's saying that we would never get to, the U.S. will never get to herd immunity. So they're not even looking at that factor anymore, that we will be at that space, just because of the different variations of COVID, and then people are just not either getting the first or even the second shot. So they understand that, um, but they're still looking to bring people in because there's just a segment um, of financial life that's just not thriving in the city, and so they need to they're bringing people back in. Yeah, right. And so to Majida said yes. This is what we talked about earlier: the leadership, the development, the coaching. That is her business. Um, and so, Sister Lorna, Sister Ray, how has your business changed at all? You said that you're a licensed hairstylist. So how has that business changed? I know, like on retail was affected highly. Travel. So if you're like in the hospitality industry, that was affected. And so if people are in those spaces, drop a comment. Let me know um, how that's going. What are you doing to pivot? And again, if you have a business or so, drop the name, drop the the website, so we can go ahead and follow you, and um, follow you and purchase. Hey, so Sister Reese said it's slow, it's slow. And so I know Texas has, their restrictions have been a little bit different. I think it's been a little bit looser than the East Coast, but it's still slow, right? And so like I said, those industries, um, the retail, the um, hospitality. Oh, look who we have here. So this is Sister or Mama Mary Moss. This is Preacher's mom. Welcome to the show. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. So Miss Mary says, an overlooked clientele is elderly computer users hmm, who need slow down training. That is a good point. That is a very good point because the move was so quick to online. You do have a segment of the population who just did not catch up, right? So they may have not have been on it, but then they were kind of forced to be on it. So, for example, if your um, religious house of religion, started to do um, online services, right? Online, um, Jumar for us, or church services. Um, you had to get online. You had to be able to pivot and figure that out. And so it's been a slow process. Some people have taken to have gotten to it, but um, it's still a concern. And you're right. It's an overlooked clientele. All right, it's online. Yeah. And Camilla agrees. Yeah, so many elderly have been left behind, and it's quite daunting because it's you're right. It's number one. We had to close off everything. People couldn't visit. People couldn't visit. The elderly because of this. Then so the only um, way that they had to connect with people is technology, and if you don't understand technology, then you're kind of lost, right? And so this is a very good point. So then, if you do have people, that talk to them, ask them, do they need help? There has to be some type of communication, right? Let's see. Lorna says she says she's at a standstill due to your health, but before COVID, which slowed down everything, so to clientele loss. Okay. Most elderly in their home. Oh, okay. And most elderly you do in their home. So, you still in our duas, our prayers, our supplication, Sister Ree, for health and healing and recovery, and not only for your health, but even for businesses, right? So we do wish that upon you. Oh, Camilla said she won, we won. Has offered classes for elderly who had to shift their business to e-commerce who never sold online. So Camilla, be sure to drop your how do people connect to you um, in the comment section. Okay. We're gonna go out for a minute or so. We got commercials to do here. So give me a moment and I'll be back. I'm just gonna bring it up for you. Okay. But stick with me. We're gonna come back and talk about um, the conversation. Okay.
Yo, assalamu alaikum. I'm Preacher Moss, comedian extraordinaire, but I like to add a new title to my name. I'm Professor Preacher Moss. You know why? Because I just graduated. Wait a minute, let me get this out of here. This is it. Okay. Um, I'm Professor Preacher Moss, and it's come through the courtesy and the blessing of the Muhammad Ali Scholarship, which came through Bayan Islamic Graduate School. Now, listen, I know a lot of you people are thinking, can I do it? Yes, you can do it. This is the part where I'm supposed to say it's easy. It's not easy. Listen, if it was easy to get this degree, Trump would be a mufti. I digress. Listen though, for you brothers and sisters that are interested, go to bayononline.org and you could be like me. Put yourself in the picture for Islamic education. Wait a minute, there's a picture right there. Sound like them, everybody. Take care. Preach them off.
I always laugh at that mufti comment. So, all right, we did have some comments. Yes, Camilla, thank you. So, love is always the subject. That is Camilla's brand and her email address. So, but under love is always the subject. .com. Under that brand is she win, we win. So go to that website and take a look at it. And I like what you're saying about the classes that you offer for our seniors. That's awesome. All right. Um, let's see. So we got 31 minutes. This is a 30-minute show. This is a lot of information here. I think this is like wow, we're gonna have to like wrap it up. So sorry, but I think that I'm gonna do another show, but I want to do another show talking about women entrepreneurs. But I want to bring people onto the show, so I want to get some people on from different industries, and then kind of have this conversation, because I think there's more that we need to only like, open up the first layer of the onion, as they say. But I think there's so much more to it, and I think there's so much that we can learn from each other. Like I'm just like looking at like the comments here. There's so much that we can learn from each other, and I do want to have that open space because again, we do make up a large percentage of the entrepreneurs, and we look at things a little bit differently. We're very communal, and so we're looking to always help our community, our families. I'm not taking anything away from men on this, but we look at things a little bit differently, right? So then I want to open up this conversation a little bit more, and so look for I'm gonna talk to Preach and see when we can do this. And again, I want to actually bring guests on. So Camilla, look for that, because I really do want you to talk more. We're doing it in chat, but I think we'll get more out of it with you actually talking. So any more comments? And like I said, I did not realize how late this was. We usually try and do a 30-minute show, and especially during Ramadan, we try and keep it compact because we know people need to get into their Ramadan things. All right. But we do need to shout out our sponsors. And actually, one of our sponsors is actually a yay. So Camilla said she would love to be part of the conversation. Yay, 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 yay. One of our sponsors, who is Maxine BK, who is actually a woman entrepreneur, right? And so not only that, her family is an entrepreneur. Her sister is preacher's mom, right? So and their family has they had stores, and so they're into that entrepreneurial spirit. But she is a financial in the financial space. It's befinanciallyindependent.com, or call 800-679-3175. And so that's Miss Maxine Cade. Give her a call for all your financial needs. Our next sponsor is bayan.org. You saw the one of the ads early on. And so this is, Preacher is actually graduating. He has his master's in Islamic education, and he got it from bayan.org. He did it under the Muhammad Ali scholarship. And so if you're interested in that, reach out to him or look at bayan.org. And he's graduating, I think the 19th or somewhere in that space of this month. So yeah, take a look at that. One thing I want you all to take a look at is the universal title. This is a 6-part series on the life of Muhammad Ali, his spiritual journey from Christianity to Islam. One of the writers on it, lead writers on it, is actually Precious Rashida Muhammad, who's actually one of the writers, right? And she's executive producer on this project. Preacher is actually the narrator of this project, and again, it's a six part podcast. So go out to your favorite podcast and look for the universal title. All right. Anything else? I think that's it. Okay. Like I said, I'm sorry that this show like went so quickly because it was a lot to open up and to discuss. But I do want to have a part two, part three, you know. But we'll work that out. But I do want to thank you to everyone who has joined. I appreciate you. Tomorrow Preacher should be back. So still come back now, right? Okay. So, but thank you so much for joining me. And to everyone, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. And Ramadan Mubarak to everyone.
Hey everybody, this is your brother Preacher Moss. Listen, I hope that you enjoyed your shout out show experience. We'll be back with the next show, the next shout out show. A simple ask before you go, please help your brother out. Click that subscribe button, click that notify button, and I'll see you again on this side of the microphone. You probably wonder what that smell is. That's me. I smell good. And the reason I smell good is because I use oils from Tarif Altar. So I'm not saying you can't smell good. I'm not even saying you stink. I'm saying you have the opportunity to smell exquisite. Check out TarifAltar.com for some of the best oils and scents in town.